In a galaxy teeming with advanced civilizations, humanity was the odd one out, primitive, fragile, and seemingly insignificant. The Galactic Council, a coalition of superior species with technology centuries ahead, viewed Earth's inhabitants as an amusing novelty. While other species mastered synthetic intelligences and biomechanical warfare, humans clung stubbornly to organic methods, forming bonds with animals instead of relying entirely on machines. Their laughter echoed in every diplomatic meeting, where humanity's representatives were treated with barely disguised disdain. Still clinging to animals for security, are you? One alien delegate sneered during a session. A quaint tradition, but wholly ineffective on a modern battlefield. The contempt wasn't entirely unfounded. Galactic warfare was a symphony of AI precision and cybernetic brilliance. Machines calculated every possibility in nanoseconds. Soldiers fitted with cybernetic enhancements executed maneuvers with ruthless efficiency. By comparison, Earth's Rangers, an elite force bonded with wolves, seemed like relics from an ancient past. These wolves, descendants of Earth's fiercest wild packs, had been bred and trained for generations to work seamlessly alongside their human partners. But to the galactic elite, it was a laughable anachronism. The Rangers themselves remained undeterred by the ridicule. Clad in adaptive combat suits, their wolves at their sides, they represented a bond that technology couldn't replicate, one built on trust, intuition, and loyalty. They can laugh all they want, Captain Elias, a grizzled veteran ranger, would say. Wolves don't care about opinions. They care about results. Despite their dismissive treatment, humanity maintained a presence in the Galactic Council, quietly observing, learning, and preparing. There was an unspoken resilience in Earth's people, a determination forged through millennia of struggle and survival. While the Council's arrogance blinded them, humanity knew that history favored those who adapted, not those who rested on their technological laurels. Tensions simmered on the fringes of the galaxy, but the Council remained complacent. Secure in their superiority, they saw no need to worry. Humanity, however, sensed the storm brewing. Rangers were dispatched on covert reconnaissance missions, their wolves tracking subtle disturbances that even advanced sensors failed to detect. Reports trickled in, disturbing whispers of a force that defied conventional understanding. Rangers returned with grim faces, their wolves uneasy, sensing something primal and ancient lurking beyond the stars. But when humanity sounded the alarm, the Council dismissed their warnings as paranoia. What could you possibly know that our advanced systems cannot detect? One counselor scoffed. Elias simply shrugged. Sometimes, you need ears closer to the ground. The Council didn't listen. They never did. But humanity had never been one to wait for permission. The Rangers and their wolves stood ready, prepared for what others couldn't see coming. For in the vastness of space, instinct often trumped logic. And instinct was something humans and wolves had in spades. The galaxy trembled as a nightmare materialized on its fringes. From the void came a swarm unlike anything ever encountered, a vast armada of biomechanical monstrosities that devoured entire planetary systems. Their ships pulsed with a sickly organic glow, merging flesh and machine in grotesque harmony. They moved without warning, without mercy, overwhelming defenses that had stood for centuries. Panic spread through the Galactic Council like wildfire. Automated defenses, hailed as impenetrable, failed spectacularly. AI-driven warships, designed for precision and unmatched speed, were torn apart by the invaders' chaotic assault. The Council's most advanced fleets crumbled, their commanders paralyzed by the enemy's unpredictability. This was no war of strategy, it was survival against an alien force immune to logic and algorithms. The council chambers, once filled with arrogance and pomp, now echoed with desperation. Delegates shouted over one another, voices raw with fear. Deploy the cyber legions, one barked. Recalibrate the neural nets, demanded another. But every solution they proposed had already failed. The invaders adapted faster than any machine could process. Amid the chaos, a lone human stood quietly in the corner, observing the unraveling disaster. Captain Elias, clad in his ranger armor, waited for the inevitable moment when the council would finally swallow their pride. It didn't take long. One of the senior counselors spat, desperation etched into his reptilian features. "Human, do you have anything to offer, or are you as useless as we feared?" Elias met the alien's gaze without flinching. "Depends. You willing to stop laughing at us long enough to listen?" The room fell into uneasy silence. Pride warred with survival instinct. Finally, the counselor gritted his teeth. "We're listening." Elias nodded. "The Rangers and our wolves don't rely on AI or rigid tactics. We adapt on the fly. We move faster, think sharper, and trust our instincts. Wolves don't freeze when things go sideways, they hunt. That's what you need right now." The council hesitated. Trusting primitive humans and their animals over centuries of technological advancements went against everything they believed. But as the distant rumble of destruction grew louder, they realized they had no choice. "You'll be given command of a task force," the counselor conceded reluctantly. "But if you fail." "We won't," Elias cut him off. His voice was steady, unwavering. "You called us primitives. Let's see what primitives can do." As the order was given, the Rangers mobilized. Their wolves, sensing the gravity of the situation, stood tall and alert, their eyes gleaming with fierce intelligence. For too long, humanity had been underestimated and dismissed. But now, when the galaxy's most advanced technologies had failed, it was instinct, courage, and the ancient bond between human and wolf that offered the last hope. The Council had laughed at humanity. Now, their survival depended on them. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid stench of burning metal. Explosions rattled the ground as galactic forces struggled to hold their lines against the relentless alien swarm. Towering war machines lay in ruin, their advanced systems reduced to sparking debris. The Council's troops, accustomed to precision tactics dictated by AI, were scattered and panicking. But the Rangers moved differently. Where chaos paralyzed the Council's forces, it fueled the Rangers. They thrived in unpredictability, operating on instinct honed through years of survival training. Captain Elias led the charge, his wolf, Ash, a blur of muscle and fur at his side. The wolves didn't hesitate or second-guess, they trusted their partners implicitly. A group of Rangers flanked the enemy, moving silently through the debris-strewn battlefield. Their wolves sniffed the air, detecting subtle shifts in the alien creature's movements that no sensor could pick up. With a silent signal, the Rangers sprang into action. Bolts of plasma arced through the air, finding their targets with deadly precision. The wolves lunged, tearing through the biomechanical monstrosities with razor-sharp teeth. The aliens, built to counter AI-driven tactics, faltered against this primal onslaught. Their algorithms couldn't predict the chaotic synergy between human and wolf. One creature, larger and more grotesque than the others, reared up, its tentacles thrashing wildly. Ash darted in, evading the flailing limbs with uncanny agility. Elias fired a precise shot, the plasma bolt striking the creature's exposed core. It shrieked and collapsed, its twisted form disintegrating into ash. Ranger squads coordinated seamlessly without the need for complex communication networks. Hand signals and wolf howls were enough. Their adaptability was their greatest weapon. While the Council's soldiers relied on rigid commands and technological interfaces, the Rangers trusted their instincts and the bond with their wolves. The tide of battle began to shift. Where once the invaders had pressed forward relentlessly, they now hesitated, uncertain how to counter this unpredictable force. The Rangers exploited every weakness, using terrain, instinct, and sheer determination to outmaneuver the enemy. In the heat of the fight, one Ranger was pinned down by a hulking biomechanical beast. Her wolf, a sleek black female named Shadow, leaped onto the creature's back, tearing into its vulnerable joints. The beast roared, momentarily distracted, giving the Ranger just enough time to fire a shot that ended the threat. Elias surveyed the battlefield, blood pounding in his ears. The invaders were retreating, their confidence shattered. The Council's forces, emboldened by the Rangers' success, rallied and pushed forward. The victory wasn't complete, but it was the first sign of hope. The galaxy's most advanced warriors had failed, but humanity's bond with its oldest companions had turned the tide. As the Rangers regrouped, their wolves panting but unbowed, Elias knew one thing for certain: the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The battlefield was eerily silent now, broken only by the crackle of fading fires and the distant hum of disabled machinery. The alien swarm lay in ruin, their biomechanical husks scattered across the landscape. What had once seemed like an unstoppable force was now nothing more than twisted wreckage. The Rangers stood amidst the carnage, their wolves at their sides, both blooded but unbroken. Captain Elias surveyed the aftermath, his breath heavy but steady. Ash, fur matted with soot and grime, nudged his leg, signaling that the danger had truly passed. For a moment, neither man nor wolf moved, both absorbing the weight of what they had accomplished. Against impossible odds, they had prevailed. A procession of council dignitaries, flanked by their shaken security forces, approached cautiously. The arrogance that had once defined them was gone, replaced by a mixture of awe and humbled respect. The senior counselor, his once pristine robes now sullied by soot, struggled to find words. You saved us," he finally admitted, the weight of the concession evident in his tone. "We were wrong about you." Elias didn't gloat. He simply nodded. "We didn't come here for validation. We came to survive. Same as you." The counselor's gaze shifted to the wolves, their eyes gleaming with fierce intelligence. What had once been dismissed as primitive was now recognized as extraordinary. The bond between human and wolf had proven stronger and more adaptable than any advanced system the galaxy had ever known. One by one, Rangers and their wolves were acknowledged, their contributions no longer mocked but celebrated. The galactic forces, once disdainful of organic tactics, now marveled at what courage, instinct, and loyalty had accomplished. The wolves, sensing the shift in atmosphere, stood tall, their pride matching that of their human partners. As repairs to the galactic defenses began, news of the Rangers' victory spread rapidly across the stars. Humanity, long relegated to the sidelines, was now seen as a formidable force. Not because of technological superiority, but because of the ancient and enduring bond they had nurtured with their companions. It was a lesson the galaxy would not soon forget. The Council, in a rare act of humility, offered the Rangers a place of honor within their ranks. But Elias, speaking for his people, declined. "We'll stand with you when needed," he said, "but we'll always walk our own path." As the Rangers prepared to depart, there was no fanfare, no grand ceremony, just a quiet understanding that something fundamental had changed. The galaxy, once divided by arrogance and prejudice, had been reminded that strength came in many forms. Elias placed a hand on Ash's back, feeling the steady rise and fall of his breathing. "They'll remember this," he said quietly. Ash's ears twitched, as if in agreement. They had come as the butt of a cosmic joke. They were leaving as legends.